Alright, welcome back to Call Sign Charlie Models. Time for another inbox review, and today we have a vintage kit. This is the big, bad, and beautiful B-29 Super Fortress from Monogram in 1/48 scale. And this kit came out in 1989. So I was 7 years old when this kit came out. But yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I know it's an old one, so there's gonna be a lot of additional parts that need to be added to this to get it up to my standard. But I don't have the aftermarket for it yet. I did add all the aftermarket to my eBay cart, so hopefully in the near future I'll be able to buy it. So I'm gonna get this box opened up. Like I said, it's an old vintage kit, and actually one of my friends from Facebook sent me this kit, so I'm definitely gonna have to build it one day, and we're gonna get right into it. So starting off with the instructions. Alright, so starting off with the instructions, you have the color call out and all that right here, and then we're immediately starting with the nose landing gear section right here. Looks like it's one of those landing gears that you can attach it after everything's done. It goes straight into the ceiling of the landing gear well, so that's nice. And then moving on, this is one of the fold out worksheets, so there are a lot of steps for an older kit. 23 steps total. So going off step 2, you're working on your cockpit. I know there's aftermarket for that. Step 3, continue on with the cockpit and moving right along. And then you're adding in your tunnel for your bomb bay. Because this was a pressurized aircraft, the only part that wasn't pressurized was the bomb bay. So to keep pressurization between the forward section and the aft section, they had a tunnel that they would have to go through, much like in the B-36 that I did. I did the 148 HPH B-36. Maybe one day I'll lug that thing around to get a video of it, but that thing is massive. So, and then continue on with your bomb bays and more detail parts with the pressurization of the rear fuselage section, and then more detail parts for your rear section. Moving on to your rear gunner and doing all that, your bombardier's panel, your wing spars, and then looks like you're getting the fuselage together in step 12. And then you're starting off with your landing gear bays in step 13 for your tail landing gear bays, getting those attached into the wings. You're doing your bomb bay doors, and then your horizontal stabilizers and the gun, and then you're attaching your guns on here. So on the box art it has the Fat Albert and Little Man on there. So I was hoping that we're going to be able to do the Enola Gay or Little Man or boxcar, but it does not look like that is an option for this kit. And continuing on, you got your belly gun turret and your nose gear landing gear doors. Then you're adding in your canopy section. Looks like if you want to have this window open, you do have to cut it out. And then you're just adding on your clear parts, your gun sight, and then some pitot tubes, and then adding the wings to everything, and then your engines. I know I am going to be getting some updated engines for this kit from Metallic Decals on 1/48 scale. Comes with the cows, comes with the full engine, and it looks absolutely gorgeous, along with the antennas and all that. So after step 23, we're moving on to the painting and decals of this. So we got Lucky 11 as a decal option for this one, and then it's going to be all around aluminum. I'm going to do this much like I did the P-47 with the different shades of aluminum, but also polishing off some of the panels as well. So, and then just moving on right on with your decals. Speaking of decals, let's look at these decals. Decals look good. I mean, they are old, from 1989, so I'm surprised, honestly, there's not a lot of yellowing to this. So I might try putting this in the sun in the window for a day or two, see if that solves that problem. If not, I know there are plenty of aftermarket decal sets for this aircraft online. So we'll move right into the kit plastic. Alright, so we have one of the clear parts, the bubble for the nose. This kit, like I said, it's old and it's been around. My friend gifted this to me, and the clear part has a few scratches on it, but we'll see how it does. If not, there's a vacuum form option for this kit. I think I'm going to find some Ziploc bags to throw those clear parts in. Okay, up next we got some of the wings. The panel lines on the wings look nice. They are raised, so I'm going to have to sand those down and rescribe them to do recessed rivets on here. But the detail for a kit that's 35 years old, 36 years old is not bad. And with here, Edward does have a flap set, so I am going to be cutting that out and getting on with the flaps on here. Alright, and then we have this sprue. It's molded in black. This has your crew figures from 1989. Those actually look pretty damn good. And then you have Little Boy and Fat Man bombs, but you don't have the Enola Gay and boxcar options. So we'll have to either see if there's a conversion set with decals or what we can do from that, or just make it a standard B-29 bomber. But you have your oxygen bottles here, some rear bulkhead, your instrument panels, and then the back end of one of the atomic bombs, and then your wheels, two pieces molded in black. I know there are a couple options for aftermarket resin wheels that do look a lot better. I am not hammering on the kit at all because, like I said, this is from 1989, so I know detail has come a very long way since 1989. So again, I'm not hammering on the detail of this kit at all. Actually, it's pretty nice for its age. Alright, moving on to the next sprue, we have our horizontal stabilizers right in here. There is a weird texture to this, the elevators on the horizontal stabilizers, and I'll have to check what that is for, or if it needs to be sanded out, or maybe this was a fabric or a different type of metal. There is some flash on the edges of the horizontal stabilizers, but that's not going to be an issue to sand out, along with the props as well. Engine cowls look good, but again, I'm going to be getting the aftermarket engines which come with the cowls, so I'm not really too worried about the engines or any of that. And detail on the engines looks decent for 1989. And then your tube for your bomb bay, and then your bombs. Again, decent detail, some flash all over the place. Then your cots right here, and then a couple other pieces. Alright, you had two of those previous sprues. We'll go over the glass work on this. So this glass work actually looks pretty decent. Not too bad for being out in the box and getting rummaged around for 35 years or so. This isn't too bad. Yeah. Maybe I won't need the vacuum form. Alright, moving on to the meat and potatoes of this kit, the fuselage. And this is a very, very large airplane, even in 1/48 scale. In 1/48 scale, this kit is measuring, without the glass work, 24 inches. So two of my wish list items are a new tooling of this kit in 1/48, a complete new tooling in 1/48, and also, I know this is wishful thinking, but I would like to see this in 1/32 as well, to go with the B-17 and the B-24 and the Lancaster. I'll do another video on my wish list of all the kits are on my wish list to be produced. Some that are needing to be new tools or kits that have just never been done before. But anyways, going back to the kit, again, raised panel lines and then some scratches on the plastic, but that was going to be real easy to buff out. And then with the raised panel lines, I'll come back in and I'll rescribe everything on that. With that, and then the cockpit floor does look pretty nice for being from 1989. Some nice raised rivet detail on the back wall, along with the seats, and the seat belts are molded in very faintly, but they're there. And it does look like you have the blocking plates possibly for Enola Gay. Maybe. I don't know if those are the blocking plates for the Enola Gay or not, but we'll have to see. And then your pressure bulkheads are right here. Moving along, and then we'll flip it over on the other side for your interior. So for the front cockpit detail, a little bit of wiring up in the front, not too much. You're not going to be able to see much back here. It's all going to be from here down. So, and then there is a couple ejector pin marks. You're not going to be able to see any of that really, because there's going to be bombs and everything in the way there. But moving on, and then your landing gear door, or your landing gear bays for your rear landing gear, look decent. They put a stamp, a copyright stamp in the landing gear bay, and then the landing gear doors have giant ejector pin marks. I mean, those are huge. Those are almost the size of a dime, maybe a little bit smaller than a dime, but I mean, those are huge. Alright, and then the sprue that has the wings on it, top half of the wings, again, the wings look alright. You're going to have to rescribe those panel lines and work with that. Your wing spars are nice, huge, and they are beefy. Your landing gear wells, your nose landing gear wells right here, and then your pitot tubes and antennas, and some more of your bulkheads. Alright, and that was the last sprue of this kit. It was a short review. For being a 1989 kit, the kit does look very nice, and just going to take some extra work. I know for me, I'm going to be going and I'm going to get the aftermarket engine set from Metallic Decals, the flap set from, I can't remember if it's Metallic Decals or Edward that does the flap set, and then the landing gear set from Metallic Decals as well. And then also Resin to Detail has some upgraded 3D printed pilot seats from there. And also I'm going to see if there's anything from Quinta Studios for this kit as well. That would be a nice addition to this kit. But it's going to take a lot of work to get done. I'm going to rate it a 5 out of 10 just because of the detail on it and how old the detail is, and all the extra work that's going to have to go in to get it up to today's standard. But yeah, it looks like a great kit. I'm excited to build it. I wish it was in 1/32, honestly, because I have the 1/32 B-17 and the 1/32 B-24 and the Lancaster as well, and just to have that size comparison for that. So, but yeah, it looks like a good kit, especially from 1989. This is by far the oldest kit I've done. We do have a couple vintage kits coming up later on this week. We have the Revell Monogram B-58 Hustler, and I'll be doing an unboxing of as well. So thank you guys for watching this, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and have a great day. Happy 4th of July, by the way. Until next time, stay frosty.